We're welcoming back NBA analyst Joe Gavazzi, and Joe and I do a video series together, and it's very rare that I go on the other side because Joe has proved in his pattern nothing but profitable in winning. But there's an occasion in the NBA tonight. I gotta say, I'm gonna go to the other side, and Joe and I always have a gentleman's bet, so it's a friendly thing. We shake hands at the end of the day. All right, the Washington Bullets are going to Chicago to take on the Bulls. All right, Washington is getting 8 points, and Joe really thinks that them 8 points are going to make a difference in the Wizards, who have been struggling to cover this bet. So I'm anxious myself to hear the insight. Joe, first and foremost, I hope you beat the book this weekend. I hope you did well. And also, in this NBA match tonight, what is it about Washington, all right, with the way they've been playing, all right, that gives you confidence to think this will cash the ticket?
Well, first of all, Mike, I'm always interested in hearing your respected opinion on these games, so I'll be eager to hear what you have to say at the end of my analysis. We're looking at a Chicago Bulls team who is on a real hot roll here, winning 6 straight games before going into Atlanta over the weekend. And then their Achilles heel began to show, and that was their defensive allowance in the paint. They're not quite as strong on the inside as they have been in previous years. I think maybe the coaching change has been a function of that. In any event, they allowed a whopping 66 points to Atlanta in the paint. And of course, Marcin Gortat, recently named the Eastern Conference Player of the Year, may have something to say about taking advantage of that. At the guard position, it's going to be a wonderful matchup as well, as lead guard John Wall for Washington has just been spectacular and handing out 25 points and 10 assists in his most recent game, victory over Orlando for us over the weekend. And we're going to look to come right back with the Washington Wizards here. Not too worried about the matchup with injured and quickly aging point guard Rose, but Jimmy Butler may present a different problem as in this Washington win streak. He's putting up 29 points a game. Still, overall on balance, I think Washington's a lot better than their record, which sees them missing the playoffs at this point for the season to end now, while Chicago challenging the Cleveland Cavaliers for the #1 spot. Remember, these two split 4 games last year in the regular season, and the 2 games decided here were by 5 and 6 points. I expect another closely contested game, and we're backed by the technicals in this spot, which has seen Chicago go just 4-11 ATS as a home favorite of 4 or more points, while the Washington Wizards 4-1 against the spread while catching 6 or more on the road. I'm going to go with the road underdog here, the Washington Wizards, but very interested in hearing your respected opinion on the other side.
Okay, well, thank you, Joe. And 8 is a lot of points, and I did take that into consideration, especially because Washington has had their moments when they have been, looking like a class team, an elite team in the NBA. My reasoning is that, first of all, I think Chicago they got to learn to get over this Rose deal. He's just too injured, and like you said, he's starting to be an aging point guard. But that Jimmy Butler, I think, is capable of carrying this team as far as momentum and the leadership ability. So I think he fits that role. My big question in Washington, and I think it plays into this big, is, and again, I'm taking in consideration Gortat. I like him. That guy's a horse underneath, and he brings it night in and night out. I think they've put too much on John Wall, and they're not using John Wall the way that they could to benefit this team. And what that tells me, that comes down to coaching. And for the last actually 2.5 years, Joe, I have thought Randy Whitman might not be the guy for the job there, and I don't think he is. I don't think he has that locker room. I don't think he has their confidence, and it's making changes at halftime, changing strategies when you have injuries, and how you fill those gaps is what makes great coaches. And unfortunately, and he was a great player, like him, good guy, but I just don't think this is him for the job. He's not the guy. This is not his expertise. So I think you're going to very soon see a coaching change in Washington. And another big factor into this is I think Washington has started to lose some confidence as a team. So I don't know if they've got that get up and go, let's turn this thing around thing, because of the fact with the coach, I don't think he has that locker room. It plays into it. So again, taking into consideration, Joe, 8 points is 8 points, but we're going to have a friendly bet. I'm thinking the Bulls might just bounce out of this thing. Butler and Gasol just might put some things together tonight and cover that line. But then at the end of the day, that's why they play the game. So, Joe, thank you so much for your input. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think we're good. Let's just see how this one plays out, and we'll find out at the end of the evening who gets the money.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. You heard it out there, everybody. All right, Washington plus the 8 going to Chicago. That's what Joe likes tonight. So if you will, just make your choice, make it wisely, and benefit to beat the book. That's what it's all about. Joe, thank you so much. Enjoy national championship game tonight, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
My pleasure, as always, to be with you, Mike, the SBR video team, and of course, you guys out there. Remember, it is basketball season, and we will be focusing completely on basketball now until the end of the week when we discuss those NFL championship games.